Hey guys, it's Helen Hartsmith here again from the Heart of the Witch's Path YouTube channel. I hope you're having a great day. I am. Okay, so this video today, I'm kind of excited to talk about this. I feel bad though because I forgot to note who asked for this video. So this is a requested video. One of you watchers out there requested this, and I'm sorry that I forgot to take note of who it was, but this video is all about house clearing and blessing ideas. And so I was really excited to get this question. It was creative, and it got me to thinking about some things and thinking about different things that I've done in the past with my practice as far as clearing and blessing a home. And so just to kind of give you a little bit of a background in case you weren't this individual, she is going to be moving soon. And so she was asking for some suggestions on different ways that she could bless and or clean her new home. And so it's exciting, right? But okay, before we get into that, we have to address a bit of an elephant in the room, guys. And I know that, you know, some people might be uncomfortable about this, but I am not. I am very open here at the channel. And so we're going to talk about all the real things out there. And the real thing for me today is this lipstick. I don't know if you can like really get a good sense of what this lipstick is doing, but it's iridescent. It's got some fun colors and light shifting going on in it. And you might be asking yourself, Helen, that glittery, yes, it's glittery. And what do I say about glitter? It is the herpes of the crafting world. But there's something about this particular lipstick that makes my heart extremely happy. And it's new. And so I'll tell you what it is real quick, and then we'll get into this video. So it is a Too Faced lipstick. I'm not sure just how much I've expressed the, I have an issue with lipstick. I like it a lot. So this is a new lipstick. Let's see if we can get some focus on the lipstick. You know, some days this works well, and other days it really just does not. So this particular lipstick is a new Too Faced product, and it's from, I'm not sure if the line is called Unicorn or what, but this is Mermaid Tears. I don't know if you can see that. Mermaid Tears. So it has kind of like a green look in the tube, but it's got a purpley look on the lip. I'm in love with it, you guys. Yes, there's glitter. I don't care. I'm gonna wear it. I wear it and I like it. So if you've seen this or if you've bought any of them, because there's, excuse me, there's Mermaid Kit or Mermaid Tears, Fairy Tears, Unicorn Tears, and Angel Tears. Those are the 4 lipsticks in line. So if you've seen this, it just came out. If you've seen this, then I want to know what you're thinking about it. Okay. So let's get into what the video is really about. Distraction over. So let's talk about house clearing and blessing. And so when I think about house clearing, I think about multiple layers. Yes, there's blessings. Yes, there's clearing, because of course, when you move into a new place, you want to get rid of any of those lingering energies that are left over from the previous folks. Because let's face it, not all of us are lucky enough to move into a brand new home. So, you know, generally you're going to be moving, when you move into a place where someone else has lived. And you want to clear out those energies because they might not be for your highest good. So that, of course, is a layer. A blessing is a layer. You want to bless that house, that it is going to be a prosperous place for you and your family to live in. So of course that is important. But I also think that along with blessing, there's layers of protection that you want to weave into your new place of living along with the cleansing and everything else. And I really think that all of that can be woven into all one thing or a series of things, all having those intent working into your magic. So the first thing that I thought about, because they're so popular right now, is sprays. I know of a lot of sprays. There's a lot of options out there, and I know that I gathered things. I have show and tell. I gathered some things together that I thought that we would talk about, that I could talk about. The first one that really kind of stuck out to me is Miss Dorothy Morrison has a spontaneous combustion. Let's see, are you going to focus on the letters here? Spontaneous combustion. So this is a cut and clear spray. This kills negative energy and its byproducts on contact. So this is a great thing to use not only when you first move in somewhere, it's going to get rid of stuff. Excuse me, I got a bit of a tickle in my throat. So this is great for when you first move into a place, but this one too, you can use periodically as you are continuing to live wherever you're at. So this is, you know, you can use this for multiple things. And I've actually used this, helping some folks out with their house and things like that. So, and it smells good too. So, I mean, these things are really nice. I also have a couple here from Jackie Smith's line. So we have Ninja Power, which is that protection, like I talked about. And then we have the Dragon's Blood, that's good fortune. Now, this might not specifically be for clearing or protection, but I thought that something like good fortune, if you're moving into a new place, then this kind of plays in with the blessing of the home to bring you new fortune. So those are a couple of really good ones that I have in my little personal arsenal. Now, you can also go super old school. This is a bottle that I put some in, but this is Florida water. And so Florida water is perfect for home protection and for spiritual cleansing. It's also good for luck. So this is playing right into those three things. You're cleansing, you're protecting, you're cleaning, and you're bringing luck on top of it. So that's good old Florida water. You can put it in a spray bottle, or I've even seen people where they will pour it like into their hand, and then you can just kind of asperge, I think that's the right word, like that in the air. So you don't have to have a spray bottle. You can just take it right from the bottle. So there's those options as far as buying a spray, but you can also make your own. If you have essential oils at home, you can definitely do some correspondence work. You would want to get, again, you probably don't need to even have a spray bottle. This is just a little spray bottle that I purchased at a dollar store in a multi-pack with some other things. But you could either get something like this, or you could even mix some stuff up in a bowl, but use some distilled water, especially if it's something that you want to keep and use again and again. So I would use some distilled water. I would use some essential oils that are good for protection and for clearing, which would be things like maybe some rosemary. Definitely some sage essential oil would be really good for something like that. Fennel. I will cover some other herbs in just a second, but you could always make your own spray and use that. Now, generally for a rule of thumb, before I get into that, let me also say that you could also do something like put fresh lemon juice in your distilled water, and you could also use a candle. You could get a new candle for this type of a thing. Do whatever up you want to do. If you want to do a new candle, if you want to do a spray, that's fine. But how I've been taught is that you would start in the furthest place from the front door in the home. And that's up to you. If there's a second floor, you definitely want to start on the second floor. But what you want to do is you want to start as far away, and you start using these things. You can spray, and you're pushing energy. You're pushing any negative energy that is not for your highest good. You're pushing that out, and then you're taking it out the front door eventually. Take it out the front door, and you take it right to the curb. You take it to the curb, and you take it right off of your property. So you can use the sprays for that. You can use a candle for that. I also thought that I would bring up, you could use incense for that particular course of action. You could use something like this, a sage bundle, which would work just as well too. And also, if you have a broom that you use in your practice, a broom is something that I've never really used in my practice. I have a couple, but I've never used them. But a broom is perfect for sweeping that stuff out of your house that you don't need, that you don't want. If you've got a basement and like a second floor, then I would suggest starting with that second floor, clearing that all out, bringing that downstairs, clean out the downstairs, take that out to the curb, and then go to the basement and bring the stuff up from the basement. And that way you can kind of do another precursor, or not precursor, you could do another sweep through the house, so to speak. So those are all really good, really effective ways of clearing. You can put blessing intentions into that as well, and you can think protection. You can do all of that all at once. Now, if you're so inclined, you can totally have some words of power. You can do a little rhyme with that, like, pain, pain, go away. I only want love and happiness to stay. And that's just something that I literally just pulled out of my butt right now. But I mean, you could have some kind of a little mantra, or some kind of an affirmation, or words of power that you're saying either out loud or in your head, that, you're taking this out of the house, and you want to make sure that you take anything that's not for your highest good off the property. So you take it right to the street and get it off of your property. So those are some really good ideas. You can also, if you have protection guides that you work with, if you have animal spirits or guardian angel spirits, you can always call upon them to be present with you as you do this kind of work. So that's helpful to have, not only your energies working towards this kind of magic, but also you have your guides. And that's just kind of a basic thing that I think you would want to do in any kind of a working, but protection guides specifically in this kind of context. Let's see. I kind of jumped around in my list here, so bear with me as I make sure that I check off everything. Another idea that I had was that you might want to make contact with the spirit of the land. There is these spirits of the land that they're called, of course I'm going to draw a blank on this, but they're part of your, I don't remember what it's called. Sorry. If I can remember, I'll put it in the description box below. But there is a spirit of the land that acts as a guardian spirit for the land. You might want to think about attempting to make contact with that spirit and ask it to protect you and your family and your things. I have a home protection altar that I have here in the house, and I will make offerings at that altar and be grateful and thankful to the spirit of the land for looking out for me and mine in this home. And so when we get things like storms, high winds, snowstorms, thunderstorms, I always kind of make sure to put out a little connection out there mentally saying, please continue to look out for us. Please continue to protect us. We thank you. We're so grateful for you for looking out for us. And knock on wood, we haven't had a lot of issues, and I think that that's really helpful. You know, we, as witches, we deal with a lot of spirits in our magic, and so a spirit of the land is just another layer of protection that we can have, and that's always helpful. Okay, so just some other things, some other foods for thought. Another thing that you could do, and this kind of comes back to using your sprays or using the smoke from your incense or sage bundle. You could also draw protection symbols in various places in your home. I would think that the door would be a good place, your main door, or doors, all doors. You could think about doing this at your windows. You could draw protective symbols that would, you know, take care of you, take care of your family. And so in the Inner Temple of Witchcraft book here, we have a few examples of some really effective protection symbols. The first one that stands out to me would be a banishing pentacle. And so I wanted to make sure that I had a diagram to kind of show you the proper way to do a banishing. So with a banishing pentagram, you start in the bottom left here, and you go up, down, over, across, and back down. So that's a banishing pentagram. And so you would do that. I would suggest the doors, I would suggest the windows, and then so that way you're banishing any, you could even do it from the center of each room. Do whatever feels right for you. Okay. Do that, and that will help banish away energies that aren't for your highest good. Now, here are some other protective symbols. Of course, the pentacle or pentagram, as it's known. If a cross speaks to you, you could definitely use that. We have an ankh here. Of course, that is from Egyptian. And then we have the eye of, I always like to make sure I'm saying the right one because sometimes I say it wrong. Oh, it doesn't say. This, I believe this is the Eye of Horus. I don't use that often, so that's why I get it confused. Then we have a hexagram, and then we have a triquetra, or a triple knot. So those are all protective symbols that you could, if you're using spray, you could dip your finger in the spray and you could draw it in the air. You could draw it on the glass. You could draw it on the door. And these are all things that you would probably want to do periodically after you've moved in, okay? Make all of this kind of like layers of protection and blessings and cleansing that you do often. You could, do it once a month. You could do it once every 6 months. You could do it once a year, whatever feels right to you. So protection symbols, those are just a few. There are also protective ogams and protective runes that you could use. And I've actually drawn on a card here a rune that I use for protection. And so when you get into, these are, I guess I should say that this is a bind rune that I use for protection. So we have runes here like Tiwaz here. And I'm going to go to my notes so that I make sure that I don't forget anything. So Tiwaz is good for honor and justice and leadership and authority. And so this is a very good protective spirit there. We have Gebu, which of course is the X if you know your runes, and that's all about gifts. It's also about generosity. And so you would want your home to be known as a place of generosity, where perhaps someone could come if they needed aid, if they needed support. So that's definitely a good rune to include in this. We have the Othala rune here, and Othala is a source of safety, increase, and abundance. So that's perfect to have involved in a protection rune for your protection bind rune for your home, right? We also have Ingwaz, which is the square here. And ingwas is good for common sense, for family love, and for simple strengths. So those are also very good things to want to have those types of energies in your home. You have Radho. You actually have two in this, the R looking shape. And Radho is all about journeys and vacation, but it's also about relocation. So a great rune to have in a new home. You are coming home. You are relocating to a new home. And then finally, we do have Isa, which is the straight line here. And Isa is all about a challenge or a frustration, but it's about turning inward and waiting for what is to come. And so sometimes not everything is about unicorns and rainbows. Sometimes we have strife in our life, and sometimes it's good to have a reminder of that, but you're surrounding yourself by all these other very protective runes that are going to be beneficial for your home. So something along these lines would be a great symbol that you could draw on your door, draw on your windows. If you actually, if you were so inclined, you could gather twigs or sticks from trees in your yard, and you could use yarn and bind and make this protection rune, and you could hang it either outside or you could put it inside as a further symbol of protection. So if you're into runes, then this might be a really good suggestion for you. There are similar Ogham letters that would be used for protection. However, I'm not as well versed in Ogham, so I would suggest doing some research on your own, but it's definitely something out there. Another symbol of protection that I thought that I would mention, but again, it's something that I don't know a whole lot about, but I thought I would mention it because there are some folks out there that probably do. I see a lot of I think they're called evil eye. I know it as an evil eye because I have Mexican Catholic friends, and so they always talked about the eye and, you know, giving the eye or canceling out an eye or whatever. But they're a round blue disc. It's usually like glass, the things that I've seen, and then there's like a white circle with the black circle in it, so it looks kind of like an eye. And so a lot of people will hang those in their homes for protection. So that's also something that, you know, you could anoint, you could, you know, bless it at your altar and say, you know, use this symbol to protect my home. And that would be another thing that you would want to, you know, kind of charge with your intention from time to time. So that's just something else that you could do. Okay, so the last thing that I wanted to talk about is actually something that I did for myself. I read a spell in a book, and I tried to find the book. I thought I knew which book that it was in, and I couldn't find it. So I'm kind of recreating it from memory, and I think that as long as the intent's there, that's the big thing. What you do is you would take a small dish and put sea salt in it, and then you would put your choice of herbs in it. And what I did was I came up with a list of herbs that are useful for both protection and for cleansing. Okay, so you can use as many of these as you like and just add equal parts to the salt. Okay, so anise, you could use anise. You could use Asafetida. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but it's something that I'm seeing a lot. So this is an herb that I kind of want to learn a little bit more about. Blessed thistle. Cedar. Cedar is one of the 4 sacred plants in Native American spirituality. So that would be a good one. You could use sage. You could use rosemary. You could use vervain. You could use coconut, which I thought was interesting. And you could use fennel. So like I said, you want to take equal amounts of however many of this list, and I will put this list in the description box. So you want to take the equal parts and add that into your salt. And you want to give it a good stir. And I would suggest that you stir it clockwise because you want to bring about this protection. You want to bring about this cleansing. So you want to stir that clockwise because you're bringing it to you. Okay, you're invoking it to you. And so while you're doing this, I don't want to put words into your mouth, but I would suggest having some words of power. If you like to rhyme, make a spell that rhymes. If you only want to do a mantra and have that go over and over in your head, I'm trying to keep that going this way. You do that until you are satisfied with it, okay? Till you feel like it is ready. And then if you wanted to, you could take this mixture and you could sprinkle it around your property if you wanted to. Or another thing you could do is what I did with it is I have my container had a lid. So, and I just had a small container that was probably about 2 or 3 inches in diameter. And then I had a lid for it. And I put that in my basement. And it stayed in the basement of the house that I lived in at the time. And that was kind of our protection root, so to speak. That's why it was in the basement. It was the root of the protection for the entire house. And you could go down there when you're refreshing all of your protection layers. You could go down there, give that little bowl a shake, and just kind of reactivate that and kind of put some of your magical intention back in it to kind of recharge it and reactivate it and get it back going again. And that's part of your recharge for your whole layers of stuff. So there you go. Those are my suggestions for ways that you can cleanse, protect, and bless a home. I hope it's not too detailed or too long or what have you, but I wanted to make sure to give a good list that had a lot of suggestions so that if you're interested in a subject like this, you've got some things to think about and some to choose from. So if you liked this video and would like more videos like this, then please give it a thumbs up. If you learned something, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel. We love to have you back here checking out things. And please be sure to comment down below. What do you do to protect, cleanse, or bless your home? I'm always open to suggestions, just as I'm sure everyone else is. So don't forget to check out Instagram. If you want to email me, do so at heartofthewitchespath@yahoo.com. I think that's all the end business that I've got. So thanks for walking the path for a little while with me. And until next time, blessed be.